You know what one of my favorite things is? Minecraft. My other thing, not being bored. So basically, I'm just going to play Minecraft, and you're going to listen to some yap stories that I randomly found on Reddit. Now, the stories I'm about to start reading is what's your best story that is 100% real, but nobody believes you? Basically, what I'm doing in Minecraft today is just mining. I just started a new world, and I'm basically going to start a series that I play that world and then just read random stories. I'm going to try to not play that world too much without like recording it, but come on. Okay, let's get into the first story. My friend got a girl pregnant when he was 13 and the girl was 15. They met at the beach in Panama City, Florida. She was rich and lived in Ohio. He was poor and lived in Georgia. My friend never told anyone but me. He is now 28 and has a 15-year-old kid only I know about. The only reason he got away with it is because this girl's family was super rich. The girl never said who the guy was and would sometimes fly down to visit him in secret. I did not believe this until I saw pictures of his kid. His kid has never met him either, and I do not think he even knows he exists. I always daydreamed that if my friend died, I would have to tell his parents that he actually has a kid, and they have been a grandma and grandpa for 15 years and never knew it. Okay, second story. When I was in elementary school, my brother and I were walking home from school after it had rained all day. He started reaching his hand in all the puddles. I asked him what he was doing. Sometimes there's money in these. 3 or 4 puddles later, he pulled out a $20 bill. Not sure if he yanked it from somewhere else and planted it, or if it was legit. Either way, I now check puddles for treasures when there are no witnesses. Now that one, I feel like had to be planted because I feel like it would kind of be obvious if a $20 bill was just sitting in a puddle because it would literally be soaking wet. But if that wasn't planted, that's insanely lucky. Okay, this third story, I just had to include it. It's pretty short, but if this is real, this is pretty crazy. When I was 15 years old, I was in my kitchen, home alone, cutting a pineapple. There was a fly that was buzzing around my face for the past 2 minutes, and it was getting really annoying. So, just for the heck of it, out of pure blind rage, I grabbed my knife and swung it at the fly in midair. I sliced the fly in half. Sliced it in half. After I did that, I immediately realized no one would ever believe me. Fourth story. On the way to visit a friend, my husband and I got lost on a highway in Pennsylvania. By some weird chance, my husband's friend drives past us in the opposite direction. We see him and turn around to catch up to him. Finally pulling over, we are standing on the side of the road, a 2-lane highway, discussing the directions to the friend's house. Surrounding us are farms with corn and other various crops. Out of nowhere, a duck appears on the opposite side of the road. He is looking at us curiously while we are talking. We watch him look both ways and waddle across the road to where we are standing. Cars are honking at him as they attempt to drive past. He gets over to my husband, pecks at his shoe once, and then promptly walks back across the street, dodging cars traveling at highway speed. He made it back across the street and disappeared into the crops. He risked his life to peck my husband's shoe and then simply waddle out of our lives. That is such an odd story. I love it so much. Story 5. How I ended up with my dog. I was on my way to the bus when I saw this dog calmly walking about. He approached me. I petted him a bit and then went on my way. But for some reason, he kept on following me. There were other people around us, but he kept on walking behind me. The bus station is on a busy street. I hoped to shake him off by the time I got there, but no. I wasn't sure what would happen if I got on the bus. Would he run after it? Would he hop on the bus? The stop I intended to hop off on is another heavily trafficked place. Neither of the options looked good, so I did the only thing I could think of. I headed home. On the way, I called my dad and told him a dog was following me. He laughed, thinking it was my way of trying to skip school. He went along with it though, promising to drive us to the nearby dog shelter. Imagine his surprise when I come home with a dog. So, we drive to the dog shelter, where we have to turn him in. A week or so later, we get a call saying that no one had claimed the dog or reported him missing. My dad wanted a dog different breed though. But seeing as this fellow had followed me around, he figured, well, this is the dog. And that, kids, is how I met my dog. This is him. I guess I'll put the picture of him on the screen. That's a pretty cute dog. Story 6. When I was about 8 years old, my dad and I were throwing the Nerf Whistler football out in the yard. My dad had quite the arm back in the day, so when we got done throwing around, he decided he wanted to send a laser right in the back of his truck from about 30 yards away. Naturally, I began to run inside, and Dad accidentally hits me so hard with the Whistler that it left a permanent dimple in the side of my face. Luckily for me, though, it hit me square in the jaw where normal dimples usually are. That is probably the source of why people don't believe me, but this happened. Hearing the high-pitched whistle coming directly from my face was absolutely terrifying. That's pretty funny. Story 7. This one's a little creepier. When I was 8, I was riding bikes with my mom, hit a gravel patch, and fell. I don't remember why I didn't have a helmet on, but I hit my head on a rock and was knocked unconscious. I saw and heard 2 old ladies walking down the street. They came over and stood by me for a little while. When I opened my eyes, my mom was running out from a neighbor's house after calling an ambulance, and the old ladies were gone. 10 people came out to assist me, and not one of them saw those women. That's pretty creepy, I'm not gonna lie. I found a pretty good one to end this video off. I was driving back from a wedding in northern Wisconsin with my ex-girlfriend in the summer of 2010. It was about 10 p.m., so there was no one else on the small highway, and it was actually quite peaceful. Then, I came out of a winding turn and saw a big tan creature on the side of the road. It was way too big to be a cat, and it definitely wasn't a dog. I tapped my girlfriend on the arm and said, babe, did you see that?" She replied, "No, what was it?" "I think I just saw a mountain lion." She then said, laughing lightly, "Baby, you're just tired. There are no mountain lions up here." I kept my eye on the rear view mirror, but it was too dark to see anything. I know I saw a mountain lion, but neither she or her family believed me. A few years later, reports started coming in about more sightings, which makes me believe even more that it was a mountain lion. Yeah, driving in the pitch black and you see a big cat right there, I would have gotten scared. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure you have an amazing day.